Chapter 3, Test Review. Number 1. The population of a town changed from 2,600 to 3,330. What was the percent of increase? To find this, we have to solve for the change that happened from the town from the two different amounts. So you have to find the change and put it over the original. And to get the percent, you set it equal to, that is correct, x, which is your percent, over 100. The change would be the difference between 3,330 and 2,600. To find change, we have to subtract. The change is 730, and you put it over the original population of the town, which was 2,600. Set that equal to, your x is your percent, the percent which you're looking for out of 100. To solve a proportion, you cross multiply. That would leave you with 2,600 x equal 730 times 100. You will divide both sides by the 2,600. The 2,600 over 2,600 cancel. That will leave you with the value of x. On the opposite side there, instead of doing long multiplication and long division with 2,600 as your divisor, you can cancel 1 0 top to bottom, top to bottom. That leaves you with 730 divided by 26. You'll pause the video and do the math. When you divided 26 into 730, you got 28.07, which is approximately, and that can be your answer, 28%. 28%. The 7 told the 0 to go up to a 1, but then that still made your whole percent. Percent of change was a percent of increase, 28%. Number 2. The price of an item has been marked up 15% since last year. Use P for last year's price to write an expression of the increased price. The price last year was 100% of itself. Add to that the 15%, and you get a total of 115%. 115% as a decimal. You take the decimal after the 5 and move it to the left 1, 2. That gives you the decimal of 1 and 1500ths, and you put that next to the variable p, which will give you an expression for the increased price. Number 3. Didier invested $5,000 at a simple interest rate of 3%. In 5 years, how much interest will he have earned? There's a formula for finding simple interest. It is I equal P RT. If you forget the formula, it is on your formula chart. So if we are looking for the interest that he would have earned, you have to multiply the principal, P, 5,000, times the rate, which is 3%, and the time here being 5 years. You can't multiply the way it is because 3% has to be changed to a decimal. 3% as a decimal, when you move it 2 places to the left, becomes 300ths. Bring down the 5 for the years and down the 5,000 for the principal. You can do some basic math there in your head, multiplying 3 by 5 and getting 15 with 2 decimal places. That's 1500ths times 5,000. If you know 15 times 5, this problem would be easy to solve in your head. Or you can pause the video and just multiply 5,000 times 1500ths. 5 times 15 is 75. And there are 1, 2, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3 zeros. But don't forget, you have a decimal. There's 1, 2 decimal places to add back. 1, 2. The answer is $750. Number 4, Isaiah. Isaiah right now is an 8th grader. He is great at math. Isaiah is saving up to buy a new game. He has saved 30% of the cost of one game that costs $58. How much more money does he need to save? To buy the game, he has to have 100% of the money. He's already saved 30% of that. So he needs 70 more percent for what he needs to buy the game. 70% is still what he needs to save. So you take the $58 that he needs and multiply by the 70%. 70% has to be changed to a decimal. Makes that 7/10. If you'll pause the video and multiply 58 times 7/10. That is correct. You got $40.60. Needed to make sure you put that decimal in there. So he needs $40.60 more before he can buy the game. Good job, Isaiah. Number 5. Jarrett works on a farm that has 3 types of animals. There are a total of 72 animals. About how many more pigs are there than chickens? There are 32% pigs, 28% chickens, and 40% dairy cows. If you add all these up, they add up to 100%. That's what a pie graph does, or circle graph. The totals add up to 100%. So if you take the 32% that are pigs and the 28% that are chickens and subtract, you get 4%. And so you will be looking for 4% of, which is times, 72. You change your 4% to a decimal, which gives you 400ths times 72. If you'll pause the video and do the math, you should come up with 2 8800ths. And you have to have a whole number for the number of pigs. So the whole number is the 2. What does the 8 tell the 2 to do? Remember the rule for rounding. 4 or less, let it rest. 5 or more, raise the score. So the 8 tells the 2 to go up to a 3. So the answer to the question would be about 3 more pigs. Number 6. A shopper buys a notebook for $5. The percent of sales tax is 8%. Write 2 expressions that could be used to find the total sales tax. Remember we had way 1 and way 2 on our notes? One way to do this would be taking the 100%, which is the cost of the item, add the 8%, which gives you 108%. That will be the cost of the notebook with the sales tax. When you change the 108% to a decimal, you have 1/800 times 5. Way 2, you would take the 5 and multiply by the 8%, 8% being 8/100, and then add 5 back to that. So your 2 expressions would be the first one circled here and the second one circled here. Way 1 and way 2. Number 7. In 3 years, a gym membership went from $6,400 to $8,400. Write an expression that shows how to find the percent of increase. Now remember, writing an expression, you don't have to find the answer, but you do have to know how to work this problem with the proportion that we've taught you on change, change over original equal to the percent out of 100. So you would take the 8,400 minus the 6,400 to get the change and put it over the original of 6,400. Or you could write 8,400 in parentheses minus 6,400, close the parenthesis, and then divide by 6,400. Number 8. An amount of $4,000 is invested for 3 years. The interest rate is 2%. What is the amount of interest earned? The formula we will use here is I equal PRT. The interest is going to be the answer because we have the principal of 4,000 multiplied by the interest rate of 2%. Remember, 2% has to be changed to a decimal, so that would be 2/100. And then multiply the number of years, which is your time, 3. This is a simple problem to work mentally. 2 times 3 is 6 with 2 decimal places, so that would be 6/100 times 4,000. 4 times 6 is 24 with 1, 2, 3 zeros, and add your decimal back in of 1, 2, 1, 2. The answer is $240. That would be interest earned on $4,000 at a 2% interest rate for 3 years. Number 9. A toy store marks down every toy by 25% in January. Use P for the price in December to write an expression for the price in January. This is real shopping, guys. If you wait and spend your money after Christmas, you get a better deal. In December, being at 100% minus the discount of 25%, you're only going to pay 75%. So you take that 75% and turn it into a decimal, which is 75 hundredths p. So your expression is 75 hundredths p. That will be the price in January. Number 10, Stuff Mart, aka you know what, buys a bicycle for $150 and sells it at a retail price of $300. What is the markup? You have to take the change over the original to give you the percent of markup, percent out of 100. 300 is the retail price minus the 150. That will give you the change over the original price that they buy it for, which is 150. So that's 150 over 150. 150 goes into 150 one time. To change that to a percent, you move it 2 places to the right, which is 100%. So the way you would state that is the markup is 100%. Number 11. A market buys mixed nuts at $15 per pound. They want to make a 20% profit. What should they charge for the retail price? First, you need to find 20% of the $15. That's 20 hundredths or 2/10 of meaning times 15. 2 times 15 is 30 with 1 decimal if you use the 2/10. So $3 is what they're going to make in profit. But you have to add the $15 that they bought the nuts for to the $3. That will tell you what they have to charge to make a 20% profit. So the mixed nuts will cost $18 per pound. Number 12. The price of a graphing calculator is $80. The sales tax is 7%. What is the total cost? That's right, total cost of the calculator. You're not only looking for the sales tax, but the total cost of the calculator. So the sales tax for the $80 calculator would be 7% of $80. 7% as a decimal. You got it. 7 hundredths times 80. 7 times 8 is 56. Add 1 0. And then put your decimal back in the answer. The tax, just the tax, is $5.60. But you have to add that to the $80. And if you're not careful, you'll miss that because the $80 and then the $5.60 to line up the decimals, and you get $85.60. The sales tax was $5.60, and the total cost would be $85.60. Number 13. Stuff Mart buys a bicycle for $150 and sells it for a retail price of $300. What is the markup? If you're paying attention closely, you'll notice this question is a question that we've already had. So we're going to change the $300 to $600. Stuff Mart buys a bicycle for $150 and sells it for a retail price of $600. What is the markup? You have to find the change, the difference between the $600 and the $150. Put it over the original, what the company paid or what Stuff Mart paid for the bike. That will give you 600 minus 150. That is right. It's 450 divided by 150. Zeros cancel. If you know your 15s facts, you know that 15 can go into 45 and will go into 15. Gives you 3 over 1. 3 whole is what percent? That's right, 300%. So the markup, instead of being 100% like the other problem, is 300%. Number 14. The price of a laptop was reduced from $450 to $360. By what percent was the price of the laptop reduced? So you're looking for change over the original to give you the percent out of 100. The change, the difference between the two, 450 minus 360 is 90. So you have 90 over the original cost of 450. Equal to the percent, which we're looking for, out of 100. It's a proportion. You're looking for your cross products. You have 450x equal to 90 times 100. Divide both sides by 450. You'll notice you can drop 1 0 on each, and 45 goes into 90 2 times. 2 times 10 is 20. That gives you 20% for your answer. Number 15. Answer the question below by writing 2 or 3 complete sentences in the space provided. Mackenzie wants to buy a backpack that costs $70. If the tax rate is 5%, how much did she pay in total? Using appropriate vocabulary and complete sentences, explain how you calculated the answer. First, you change 5% to a decimal. Five hundredths. Second, you multiply 5 hundredths times 70. Finally, you add the answer which is $3.50 to the cost of the backpack. $70. Let me reread that, and you need to do that also when you get your answer. First, you change 5% to a decimal, 5/100ths. Second, you multiply the 5/100ths times 70. Notice how I'm using capital letters and periods at the beginning and end of each sentences. Finally, you add the answer, which is $3.50, to the cost of the backpack, $70. The total? You don't have to list that, but it would be $73.50. Number 16. Answer the question below by writing 2 or 3 complete sentences in the space provided. Amanda increased the amount of protein she eats every day from 48 grams to 54 grams. By what percentage did Amanda increase the amount of protein she eats? Using appropriate vocabulary and complete sentences, explain how you calculated the answer. First, comma, you find the change between 48 and 54 by subtracting. Next, you set up a proportion using six as your change over the original, comma, which is 48. The second part of the proportion is percent over 100. Then solve the proportion by using cross products. You now have 48x equal 6 times 100. After you go to the side and solve the problem, you can state that the percent of increase is 12 5/10%. Don't ever write that much and then forget to proofread your own writing to check for mistakes. First, you find the change between 48 and 54 by subtracting. Next, you set up a proportion using 6 as your change over the original, which is 48. The second part of the proportion is percent over 100. Then you solve the proportion by using, there's a mistake, should be ing, by using cross products. You now have 48x equal 6 times 100. And after you went to the side, you figured out 600 divided by 48 was 12 5/10. So the percent of increase is 12 5/10%.